Jay with Trey and Doc, and we're bringing you Retcon Comics Podcast, here to deliver your audible fix for pop culture comic needs. Wherever you are in the multiverse, metaverse, whatever verse, we just want to say thank you for joining us. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you're here with the team. Please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. So what's going on, Doc?
Not much. It was a good weekend. Even though it's past, May the 4th be with you.
Yes. And on that note, do want to note that this name of the episode is Return of the Retcon Jedi.
Okay. Copyright.
Oh, yeah. We do not own the copyright Star Wars, but also Disney. Please do not sue us or George Lucas. And we're going to...
This joint won't even get off the ground.
I know. You shut down.
Those strikes come back.
Right. So before we get into it, as everybody knows, May 4th just passed. May the 4th be with you, by the way. Trey, how did you celebrate the 4th as far as Star Wars? Did you watch any Star Wars stuff? Or were you just in your living room and you just walk by anybody? Or did you walk by anybody in the streets and just say, May the 4th be with you, hoping that day will be like, May the 4th be with you as well? Or did it was awkward?
I don't see Trey doing that.
Nah.
Okay, that's what happened to me. I was at Walmart.
I just went to work.
I was at Walmart, and maybe that's wrong with me for being presumptuous of this person, but I saw them. They had glasses on. They had a T-shirt. I didn't see no Star Wars on it, but I walked by and said, May the 4th be with you.
Did you stereotype somebody because they look like
I might have.
Did. Okay.
But that's me, y'all. So if you see me and you say May the 4th, like I got the shirt on with the glasses. If you see me, May the 4th be with you, Josh. May the 4th be with you as well. But that didn't happen to me. I looked awkward to him, and then just walked off and got my Patti LaBelle sweet potato pie.
That's funny.
Is that a real thing?
Patti LaBelle sweet potato pie?
Really?
Yeah, that's real.
Man, wait, they got cobbler, they got sweet potato
They
pie.
got buttermilk, I think. I don't even know what buttermilk is.
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
But
I thought that was in a sitcom, but I just didn't realize that was real.
No, that's a real thing.
I still remember my first patty pie.
Really?
Yeah,
you sound like the sitcom I was watching.
You always remember your first time.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
First patty
pie.
Doc, did you do anything for the 4th at all?
I think I was just here at the shop working, getting ready. I was over here with Emma because Emma actually requested to work that day because she wanted to dress like Ray, and she did.
That's fine.
Okay.
And so I was just at the shop, and obviously people were gonna say May the 4th be with. It's like them saying, "What's up, Doc?" to me, like,
right.
You never heard that before, huh, Doc? No.
Right. I got no love on Facebook when I put May the 4th, except for my mother-in-law, which she likes everything. So shout out to my mom-in-law.
You need one of those.
Appreciate that.
You need one.
I don't think she knows what that was, but she just did it anyway. So, but that's love, right? Like you want that.
You got
right?
one like.
Yeah, just the one. Just the one on that.
Trey, you didn't even like it?
I don't be on Facebook. I don't, man.
No. And then other than that, I checked out the Star Wars Visions, which is the second season of the anthology of short Star Wars stories.
Yeah.
Which I think is awesome because it definitely expands on the mythos of Star Wars, and the animated features are awesome. I think there was one. I don't know what you would call it, claymation maybe. I think that's what it is. It put me in the mind.
Oh, yeah.
That was really dope. And then they had one where there was a Sith who was no longer a Sith and trying to just live their life out. And then, of course, the past came to haunt them, which her Sith master came visiting her. And she had an orange saber. Now, isn't there an orange saber in the current Star Wars comic book that Luke is brandishing at this point?
You know what? I have not caught up on it. It's actually looking pretty good, but he had a yellow one. The one that I've been seeing on the covers are yellow. It's been yellow.
Okay, so for the comic book accurate people and Star Wars people, if I am colorblind to that, then I apologize. It looked orange to me, but if it ain't orange, just put in a comment. Josh, you got to get your facts right. It is yellow. Okay, all right. I mean, be that as it may.
And they will come for you.
They're coming.
Yes. So please give me a little mercy, okay? Give me a little grace. We all need grace in our lives. So,
we all fall short.
Although there are, they may be doing a different storyline. One of the things I've been hearing about some of my subscribers is, like with the Mandalorian comic that's out, it's pretty much following the show.
Okay.
A little bit. So if you've seen it, I think a lot of the mythos with the comics, like you said, it's actually mirroring what's going on in the movies and stuff.
They made a concerted effort, kind of especially once Dave Filoni and John Favreau got really involved.
Yeah.
But they made a concerted effort to kind of get rid of certain things that they didn't consider continuity, and then kind of make sure everything is in the same world.
Right. So it's clean, like, for the most part.
Yeah.
And of course, if you guys are looking, you can see we do have the Funko Pops. You got, Doc, you want to go ahead and highlight those as you hold your very own lightsaber?
Yes. Again. Original.
I was playing with that for a little while, y'all.
Have you seen the new ones that Disney are making that actually like extend?
Shut up.
Fire.
Really?
Fire.
Okay, now we talk about the ones that extend that you like snap out and look at.
You hit a button and it makes the sound and it extends. And then you hit the button and it disappears.
You gotta be kidding me.
No,
dude.
you're gonna have to show me. I've seen some things. I'm like, that's not real.
If I get one of those, I'm gonna be like Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly on Step Brothers, talking about I have room for so much activity. Like I'm just, my wife I would get on her nerves. Put that up.
It is on. It is on.
You're not a Jedi. That's not true. That's not possible. It's not true.
She's just gonna roll her eyes.
You gotta find one where it just gets to the point.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, you ever been on YouTube and been like, type in how to change a light bulb, and it's a 30-minute video?
Yes.
Like, bro.
Like we were talking about the history of light bulbs.
I know, right?
It started with
they got to get those lights, man.
Right,
I guess the time period to get in the commercial. They have enough.
Yeah.
You know, what is it? Not supporters, the backers. They have enough advertisers on it where I guess they have to get that time period in there.
Right.
But once again, you try to move ahead, and then it actually makes you, it triggers a.
Doc is looking at the Disney lightsaber, and he is flabbergasted. He's in shock. Are you okay?
I am.
Do we need to feel
There was something about that just didn't seem right, though.
It's slow.
That's fine, but it almost seemed like it was. I don't know, man. I don't know if that is it. I don't know if that's legit. It's something about it's not lining up correctly. Okay, does he hit it on something?
No. Yeah, no. So
okay, I need to see that.
So
how
that
much
was
is that going to cost? I want one. If it's real,
it's
if it's Disney, I mean, it's going to be maybe half a car payment.
Oh, easy.
Right.
Dude, I looked into going to Disney.
Yeah.
Oh, it is ridiculous.
Bro, I just go on YouTube and try to get the videos where they in front seat of the road.
Get the experience.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody who had the
IMAX.
opportunity to go to Disney. And while you're listening, make sure you put in what is your favorite Star Wars moment, be it in real life, whatever you experienced, or anything to do with the shows, the movies, whatever. Make sure you share that with us. We love to see that, especially how much Star Wars means to everyone. I mean, it's a community. It's literally a community.
For sure.
You know, and we had, before we started the podcast, we talked about, you know, and the community is almost like on a same consensus on whether, if a movie is good, everybody believes it's good and everybody's with it. If it's bad, it's terribly bad. And with that being said, Doc, we are sitting on the edge of our seats for the top 5.
I'm going to just keep it to movies.
Okay.
So, you know, you put out the original call was it could get show, whatever.
Yeah.
That would have been a lot harder.
That'd be a lot harder. Okay.
I feel like let's just stick to movies.
Stick to movies.
Sure.
Bet.
With that said, you always know I have a runner-up.
Uh-huh.
I got to show some love to Solo. They're going to be in my 6th spot.
Solo.
I feel Solo came out at a very bad time because that dumpster diver trash came out right before.
Yeah.
Wasn't it around about COVID too? Like people were just like kind of over it a little bit.
I think so.
With the Force Awakens.
Yeah.
That just came out. And I think it got a lot of heat. And it didn't get any love because of that. Shout out to Val. Val looking like a, futuristic Nina Simone.
That is funny. That Zoe Saldana is Nina Simone.
She got heat for that.
She got crazy heat. I kind of got it.
I got it. I absolutely got it.
Because it's what if you got
to make a prosthetic nose
and like make your skin tone 4 shades darker than it is. Like, come on, man.
Right.
Come on. Yeah, man.
So your runner-up is Rogue One. No, Rogue.
Solo.
No, Solo.
Solo. That's my runner-up.
So, can I ask you a question about Solo?
Yeah.
Is the dude that played Solo, did you like him?
He was fine. I thought he could be a believable Han coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What about Donald Glover as Lando?
I like him.
Oh yeah, I like him.
I
I
liked
liked
him.
him.
Yeah.
I didn't like his droid. I thought they were trying to do too much with that.
Yeah, they were.
Mm-hmm.
They were.
But I liked him as. I think he pulled off being Lando.
Emily Clark was in that, right?
Emily Clark,
because she played in Game of Thrones, Khaleesi.
Yes,
and so she was she wasn't the head of Crimson Dawn.
I believe she was the main female character. She was the desire of Han
because Darth Maul showed up.
Vision, the dude who ends up playing Vision.
Yeah, right.
He was a great villain.
Yeah.
He's just a great actor.
Yeah, he is.
Period. And they got a comic book that follows Emily Clark's Star Wars character. It started off with, I think, Crimson something, and then it moved on to Hidden Empire. Which
that was based on her.
That was based on her. So definitely don't want to put no spoilers out there, but it has been out for a while, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and do that.
We'll put spoiler alert on the screen.
Yeah, okay. And she literally was trying to take down the Sith.
Okay.
What I didn't get was the motivation. I guess it kind of got lost on me. I mean, was it to some type of loyalty to Darth Maul? I don't know. But she did a lot
because he did show up at the end of that.
He did.
I love Darth Maul, but that's another story.
Yeah.
No, I do too.
Yeah, he did.
He was underused to me.
He was.
Absolutely.
He's why I don't watch trailers, if everybody knows the story.
Which is why I love the Clone Wars, because they did a better job
of fleshing him out.
Yes.
So here's my question. So, because I know DC is moving in this direction too now, where like everything is going to be in the same universe. Like the cartoons and all of that stuff is going to be in the same thing. My thing is, so like, admittedly, I watched the Clone Wars a couple of times, like, and I know kind of where the Darth Maul story goes.
Yeah.
But if you're somebody who doesn't watch that stuff, like, you end up missing a lot.
You do.
Because somebody like a character like Darth Maul, one. Because before he showed back up in the cartoons, he was dead.
He was dead.
Right, pretty much. Yeah, cut in half. Yeah.
Right.
Much to my dismay, I was just distraught.
Obi-Wan is that dude, though. So if he's going to lose somebody.
Dude, but I just think he deserved one more episode.
Well, here's my thing. Like, you kill these villains that are great villains, bro.
Great.
So it's like, man, once you're gone, we can't even rehash this thing. Like, you're not even a threat anymore.
Right.
Which I get, they had to get him out of the way because Anakin has to move into that space.
Absolutely.
But,
absolutely.
Man.
I mean, but yeah, listen. Darth Maul, and again, and maybe those who, because Star Wars has so much material out there. So you will spend like weeks if you try to get caught up in all of that stuff in order to make sure you're not missing stuff. And there's a lot of seeds of the animated shows being planted in the current Disney Plus shows right now. Right. So if you're willing to do it, which I'm pretty sure a lot of Star Wars fans are, go ahead. If you're not a Star Wars fan, just hang in there and try not to ask a lot of questions during the movies, because that's very annoying, and then we miss what was being said, you know what I'm saying? I'm not putting anybody out there, my brother, but just hang in there, okay?
Yeah, I know somebody that asks questions the whole, and it's like, I'm seeing this for the first time too.
Like,
right.
And you ruined it for me because I'm missing stuff.
Why is he red? Why is there horns on there?
Yo, man, just go with it.
So we got the runner-up. What you got for number 5, Doc?
Number 5 is going to be, and this was kind of tricky, but it was episode 3. And the reason...
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
It fleshed out. It let me see a lot of stuff. It let me see Anakin's final transition.
Yeah.
It let me see that battle that's always
epic battle.
Yeah, it was
been in our mind.
Yeah.
how the heck did Obi-Wan jack him up that much that he was in the Iron Lung the rest of his life?
I used to pretend. So the roll paper towels out when the paper towels empty, I take the little plastic. That was me.
Exactly. Before we had stuff like this, you know what I'm saying?
Bro, I used to use the flashlight.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh man, listen,
before we had this, you know what I'm saying?
I love that sound.
To see him. There were so many levels, like even from the beginning of the movie, I remember watching it all over again, and to see that just dark descent, to watch him, see that scar on his face. First of all, I love that.
Yeah.
But to see him get his rematch with, Dooku,
Yeah.
and just handled him. Handled him. He's like, you know. And I watched that move over and over. What he did, how he held him, and just Vincent just straight up and took both of his hands off.
And your boy talking about do it.
Exactly. To see him with the yellow eyes.
Right.
Oh,
my heart.
Just looking at his soul.
The way Sam went out, like, no.
To see that, like, that in itself showed the level of what Sam was. Like, we saw him fighting in one battle.
Right.
But they always talked about how master swordsman he was. What a master swordsman. How, like, he was like the best fighter. And we get to see he handled. The Emperor was about to take him out, and it took Anakin's betrayal of him, which was kind of like, you know what? You've been dogging Anakin for like ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. He was right.
Right. So it didn't disprove the theory.
No,
it actually proved him right.
It proved him. And so, you know, you had that. You had him once again talking about descent into darkness.
Right.
He killed the children.
Oh man,
the younglings.
And they said that kid's response was like in the movie was like natural. Like when he jumped back.
Right. He's like, oh snap.
Yeah.
So to see that and to realize that, you know what, there was a point where I shouldn't be surprised by that because he'd already done it.
Yeah.
When he killed the sand people, he said, "I killed the women and the children."
Right. And that would scare off any other woman, but you know, Padme.
That's another whole thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think
that's to show you right there. She was down. She was down. She was with him.
She was a rider.
She was a rider.
I mean,
she loved him.
Right. Okay.
She loved him.
Okay.
She loved him.
She did.
She loved him. And if you can convince yourself that even though what he did was wrong, he was justified.
There it is, the justification.
You could justify it.
Right. Because he lost his mom, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I mean, he walked in and they were like, done.
Right. He right. Like
he's like, you're never gonna do this to anybody again.
That's why I don't even want to entertain the Young Jedi Adventures show. Because I'm looking at these kids being Jedis. I'm like, yeah, you about to die.
Right,
You're going to die. Order 66 is coming. You're going to die. Why would I want to torture myself watching young kids? Oh, yeah, we're Jedi.
So let me ask you this. I know we're getting off topic. So what do you think the move is for the future? Like, because what we're getting now is we're getting kind of side stories and side characters and all of that stuff. But for the most part, and correct me if I'm wrong, the time frame is relatively the same in a lot of this stuff, right?
Just about
from a standpoint of
so like we have the movie time frame,
right,
and the stuff that's happening in these shows is basically happening within that.
Absolutely.
What do you do for the future?
Right now, the future is bleak in my mind.
Yeah,
you think so?
It is.
I think there's just so much room to expand because like you have the they call it a prequel trilogies, right?
Yeah, right.
Between those and then the original trilogy, there's like I think a 20+ year gap.
Yeah,
and that's why they're able to just come up with these shows in these
and the shows
places.
Have been done well.
They have,
like
they haven't worked messed up or anything to that degree. Like the Mandalorian itself takes place after Return of the Jedi. You know,
read that topic based off of what you said. All right, you see that?
Yeah, that's funny.
I actually Jedi Order movie. We'll see her struggle to build the Jedi.
And I said, I just looked at the comments because my first response was, and what this says, I'm showing them, is it says, Rey's new Jedi Order movie will see her struggle to rebuild this Jedi. And everybody said what I thought.
So that's coming.
When was this was the first time she will struggle. Because we've never seen this character struggle.
So this is coming.
But you gotta give me something with Rey, man.
Yeah, but I don't necessarily want anything to continue this.
Unless, to me, if they you gotta train her, man. You have to.
Why? She just gets it.
I get it. I understand that. I get that.
Didn't Luke train her a little bit?
No, man.
I mean, yeah, they supposedly she was with.
He was like, "Close your eyes."
That's what is.
Close your eyes.
It's just bad.
But there has to be. They have to justify her power level.
We'll see then.
Somehow.
This is the Star Wars for the millennials. Like I talk about this all the time, where there's lack of patience, where everything is like instant gratification. This was an instant gratification movie. Everything was so full. Okay, I'm digressing. We're supposed to be talking about
right. So number 4, please. Number 4.
Going to that, we're going to Rogue One.
Rogue One
was dope.
That was the true Suicide
Rogue
Squad
One was
movie.
dope. Yeah.
Like,
So
everybody died.
Yeah.
and that was the thing. I'm sitting here watching this. First of all, this was a movie that held its own, and it had essentially, to Leon, no Jedi in it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm watching this story, and I have these characters. Although I wanted Chinruk to turn into a Jedi, because that dude was
I'm
dope.
one with the Force. The Force.
I know,
is with me.
but I see these characters, and I find myself caring about each one, and then I see Forrest.
Right.
Yeah.
Andor
Coming in.
cared about
You
him.
know what I'm saying?
Even
Everybody.
his droid.
His droid.
You cared about everybody.
This was the first one. Once again, droid. Remember how we talked about wasn't feeling Lando's Lando's droid. I was feeling K2SO. And when he went out,
Yeah.
but then it hit me midway through the movie. I'm watching these characters. I'm like, I don't remember seeing any. This is not going to end well.
Right.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to
They
die.
did
You knew
really
it.
But it was an exercise in like, with Star Wars, what happens is they start to rely on lightsabers and they start to rely on Jedi and they start to rely on Luke Skywalker and they start to rely on that stuff.
Yeah.
And this movie was like, no, you don't actually have to do that.
Right. And that's why I think it did good setting that precedent, because now we're seeing so much Star Wars material and it's not having sabers in it.
No.
But it's still good.
It's
and it
still
goes back to what you say, Trey. Like, make us care about the characters.
Correct.
And like, we cared about every single one of them.
Yep.
And if that wasn't enough, they topped it off beautifully with Darth Vader going ham.
Brutal.
Like, he was going ham.
When you saw that hallway, and you saw those guys, and then all you heard, I'm getting goosebumps.
It was
right
dark,
now.
and then
all you heard was, and then he destroyed Bill.
And nothing to do with up there. He's fake. Like, he like, no, you get these hands.
No, you get it. Everybody's gonna get some.
Take this, and the door, and like,
I know. It was amazing. And it was the last 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? It was amazing.
Question. So
you stole my thunder.
I'm sorry.
Do that, by the way.
My bad. I'm
Go
so
ahead.
sorry.
That's fine.
So Darth, to me, that was one of my favorite representations of Darth Vader. Because he's supposed to be brutal. He's supposed to be, look, nah, y'all gotta go.
Yeah.
Going back to the prequels,
Yeah.
did it change your mind at all about Darth Vader, knowing this is how he became Darth Vader? Not necessarily Revenge of the Sith, but this through line is what led him to being Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So because to me, man, Anakin was just whining all the time. Like, he was just like
early on.
Like the first two movies, really. When he was a kid, he was annoying.
He was very annoying as a kid.
Right. When what was the second one? The Clone War, Attack of the Clones?
Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Clones was like, oh my, if he whines about one more thing.
He was, look, you talk about public, that dude was crushing on Padme hard.
And it, like, he was simping, bro.
Right.
Yeah, see, it wasn't big.
It wasn't what they messed up. I don't understand why they couldn't have had a child play Padme.
Yeah.
Because it was so creepy in that first movie. But it was only supposed to be like, what, 2-3 year difference?
Yeah.
Something like that. I couldn't tell.
Dude. Like,
she looked about 15, he looked about 9.
Like easily 16, 17. I'm like, why are you looking at this kid like
might get in trouble with that. I'm sorry, Star Wars fans. But y'all haven't thought about that either?
Time out. They know. They say the same thing. It's like, is that
Yeah,
is that against the law in a galaxy far, far away?
Far away.
Yeah, like.
But I think it was only supposed to be like 2-3 year difference.
It was supposed to be closer than that. But then my thing is, like, he was whining so much.
And then you got Revenge of the Sith,
which started to kind of push him into the super dark space.
Right.
But it really was like halfway through the movie.
That might be one of the criticisms
a little darker at the beginning.
Was he?
He
had on black.
He had on when he was talking to like Obi-Wan. It was kind of like,
he had the black on.
Yeah, this happened. Like, he didn't seem as whiny. He was more brooding to me in that sense.
Right.
So I guess if you look at it as a journey.
And then we see the product, obviously, like
I've grown to like those movies, though.
I like them way better now than I used to.
Oh, my goodness.
I still think the Pirate Race is the most boring thing.
It was bad.
No, the Kenobi show was awesome, but I don't want to get off subject.
No, Kenobi was great because I kind of look at Vader in phases because we got to see a little bit of him at that 5-minute scene. But then we got to see with Kenobi.
Right.
That was, to me, almost peak Vader.
It was almost peak Vader. And I love how it gives you insight to when you go back to the original movies and he says that Luke, his father, died, right?
Right.
It's like, oh yeah, he did.
He was done.
Anakin is done for a wrap.
Exactly.
So Rogue One, definitely agree with that. What do you have for number 3, Doc?
Number 3 is Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, which we got introduced to the green saber.
We got green saber. We got number 3.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
so was it 6? Number 6. Oh yeah, you're talking about 3.
Yeah. Right.
But we got Force Lightning.
Okay.
Yeah.
We did
get that.
So many different things from, seeing Han come back. Because as a kid, I'll get back to that at some point. Right. But we got Boba Fett. We got Luke coming back. Luke having been away and trained, and he looked like he had been away and had been trained. Hint. You guys hear where we're going with
black
that?
too, right?
He was wearing
just like his father,
just like his dad. And he had this calm about him. He wasn't that kid that was just like bright eyed and just.
And it was the tension of could he turn?
Right. It was there.
It was always there.
It was always there.
For the kiddos, you got the introduction of the Ewoks, and once again, this goes back to us talking about costumes, animatronics, stuff like that.
Costume.
Oh yeah, with Jabba.
Yo, people,
I got the pop.
People don't realize how fine Carrie Fisher was. Bro.
Yeah, like that was nice.
That was
and
pretty good.
Even
have you seen the green chick? The chick who got killed by. Who got dropped in the pit?
Not without.
She's the sister.
Yeah, I knew that.
She looks the same, dude.
Really? Okay.
It happens.
It happens. She looks amazing now.
There's something about that cocoa.
So question though on that, because for those who probably already know, Seth MacFarlane, he did a rendition of the original trilogy, Star Wars for Family Guy, and when they landed on the Return of the Jedi one, they picked on it and said, "Let's go ahead and just build another Death Star." Same weapon that we built last time it got blown up. My question is that did that make sense? Them rebuilding another Death Star?
They didn't really rebuild it. They fixed it. They were still working on the war.
They were still working on it. It wasn't complete though, right?
It wasn't complete. That was the thing. It really didn't destroy the whole thing. It was just incomplete. Yeah. That was a major, massive weapon.
But why rebuild that, knowing that there was that flaw? And they picked on it hard.
First, you don't succeed.
People do that right now. So a lot of times I think about life, and you're like, "Why'd you do that again?"
But here's the thing, too, right? I'll tell you why I forgive it. I forgive it because as a kid watching that movie, I wasn't thinking about that.
That's very true. You're right.
The Death Star stuff didn't become a problem until every single movie has some version of some Death Star.
Right.
The Spaceballs have them?
Spaceballs have them. But even the Star Wars stuff, like when you get to the Force Awakens and that whole trilogy,
it was a whole planet. It was a whole planet.
What are we doing?
It was a whole planet.
You couldn't let it. I get it with Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, I do too.
Not for the new light. Come on, guys.
It's like you got to have a different plan. It didn't work.
You do.
And another point to the Return of the Jedi, Boba Fett, he fell in that.
And
then that's when we got the Disney Plus show that showed us. Because there was always
there was a thought, did he live?
Right.
And there were stories that said he got out of it, that he was mad, he was crazy or whatever.
We finally got to see that.
Has there ever been a character in the history of Hollywood that had less screen time than Boba Fett,
but then
had
so much clout love, dude? No. Like Boba Fett, even going back, I'm like, did he have more? Because Boba Fett is like the man, and everybody loves him. And guess what? He didn't have a lot of screen time.
He did not.
You just knew it was inferred that he was a bad boy. Like Han was like, Boba, what? Where's Boba? You knew he was bad, but you didn't get a chance to see it.
Right. So,
that's interesting.
So that's interesting. That's your number 3. I'm really.
Yeah, I know.
But even watching, the father, the father and the son battle it out. That finally, at some point, you see every Jedi. They always talk about no emotion and being level-headed and everything else. They usually get their comeuppance when they let go and they start fighting with emotion. And you saw Luke, he got to that point.
Yeah.
And then he looked at his hand and he was like,
chopped his hand off.
He got me like, there you go.
Yeah.
And so you got to see that struggle as well. And you got final closure. At the end, you see Vader even though we all know it was James Earl Jones.
Right.
You see Vader
Give him his flowers.
Yeah.
come out of that mask, and you see him pass away, and then you see the spirit of him. I hate it when they made.
I was about to say they made Anakin.
They made young Anakin him, and they came up with some lame, reason.
Right.
But you got to see Yoda, Obi-Wan, the original Obi-Wan, and then Vader or Anakin.
Older disagree. Anakin. Comment on that if you appreciate Anakin being replaced or not.
It was silly.
It was silly. It was unnecessary.
Yeah.
So,
but to be fair, just a quick sidebar. George Lucas, man, stop messing with the movies, bro.
Right.
He
did it right the first time, man.
Like, stop messing with the movies, man. I mean, he doesn't own it anymore, but come on.
Right. I'm pretty sure he's on a consultant basis at some point.
Man, that's just symbolic. Disney is not listening to George Lucas, clearly.
Okay. With that said, Doc, what you got for number 2, man?
So, and then it was actually the second episode. What was it? I'm just escaping right now. So it was New Hope, and then it was
Empire Strikes Back. So that's number 2.
That's number 2.
Yeah, that's interesting too.
So
there was a shift that happened.
There was a shift in that.
It got dark.
It got very dark, and then you got to see the all known line, "I am your father."
Yeah.
So he cut his freaking hand off.
Yeah. He did.
Han got caught.
That's tough love.
Yeah.
As a kid, I never really, because the first when you saw how everything ended, it almost ended like it was finished.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was. So to have a movie end on a cliffhanger like that, I guess I justified it in my mind. I'm like, well, he got a hand back.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, Han is not necessarily dead, but he's gone, and I guess they're still alive. So it was not really a win, and that was the first time that I could remember a movie ending like that.
Yeah.
So
not knowing that, once again, there was going to be another one. But at the time, I was a kid.
Lando, obviously, we know what he did.
He got introduced as well.
Right, so has he been forgiven?
Absolutely.
Okay.
He was forgiven to me by the end of that movie.
Yeah,
because he was doing it for his people.
And that's the thing.
He had a reason.
He had a reason. I didn't understand that as a kid. I did understand the fact that
as a kid.
there was a black guy that I could see who was a well-known character, and then he did something dirty. But then, once again, at the end, he made an atonement for it.
But here's the thing. Reason. Like, I think nowadays it's just, they have characters that just do things to
fill a quota.
It's fill a quota. It's we need this to progress the plot. We need this to make the hero the hero.
Right.
And it's like, no, he had a reason. Put in the situation that Lando was put in.
Yeah.
First of all,
he did it for his people. Like
he did it for his people. First of all, listen, Darth Vader.
Like, come on, I'm not
like they opened up the door. They shot a laser pistol, and he was like,
"Glad you can join us."
Like,
and was chilling though.
Yeah, he chilling the whole time.
Yeah, he was chilling.
Where he calibrating his breathing machine, probably.
Like at the end of the day, what did you? He literally would have force choked me to death.
He was like,
and I had to think about a whole city of people.
So what would you have done?
Yeah,
Leia, what would you have done?
Well, the thing is, you get these situations. It's like, no, these characters are supposed to be brave. It's like, bro, listen.
You have to be smart.
You got to be smart. And listen, put in a situation, I don't care what you say. Put in a situation like that, you would make the
same
decision.
Guess what he did?
That's fair.
He blew the thing up the second time. He more than made up for it.
He did. So if it hasn't already been said, already been determined, it has now definitively on the Retcon Comics podcast. Lando Calrissian, you are forgiven.
You are forgiven. Bro, you're good. You're good.
Now,
and you got to see that there was history there between him and Han, and then we got to see that flesh out. You got to see the Millennium Falcon. That was your ship, dude. Right.
We got to see that, right. And then of course Yoda.
Yoda,
right?
Yes. So
and I mean, show him your shirt for those who can't see. As you can see,
real is the struggle,
right?
Sure.
I used to do that, and then my dad, I would drive him crazy with that. Boy, just talk normal. That's what he say. Like the dishes I have done, Father.
I can just imagine him giving you a look.
Like it annoys.
Yoda's a real one.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah.
And once again, you go back to the art of using little people, you using costumes, using animatronics, and it was practical.
It was practical, and it worked.
I look back at those Ewoks, and there was one in particular. I was looking at his lips, and I was like, did you use like real people?
Yeah, me walk something else.
They did something good, and you felt when that little Ewok died. You felt for it. You did. Once again, they made you care about all these different characters.
Yeah, but it wasn't like Star Wars and filmmaking at that time. Like Star Wars was kind of an exercise in how to make a film. I think you know what I'm saying. Are there better stories that have been told? Are there? Yeah, sure.
Right.
But Star Wars, it's a classic good versus evil story.
It is.
Right. Characters are kind of complicated.
Yep.
It's not straightforward and simple.
Absolutely.
Even your heroes are tried and tested throughout the whole thing. Like from a filmmaking perspective, it was practical effects. It was innovation, right? How they kind of put things together.
Speed bike.
You know what I'm saying?
And it holds up.
It holds up.
It holds up. And even without those modifications, George Lucas. Stop it. Sorry.
And I think here is the key though, and we kind of talk about this from time to time. This was a passion for George Lucas.
Right.
Star Wars was going to make or break George Lucas.
Right.
And he went all in.
And he went out. The only movie he had before that was American Graffiti.
Yes. Correct.
And it was like, dude, he talked about this movie with people. People thought it was a terrible idea.
They thought so much that they allowed him to keep merchandising rights.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken, right? 100% of that.
100%.
Stupid of y'all. Because he...
Billions later.
Right.
And it's like, bro, and that's what is missing.
Right.
That's
the
what
passion, the love.
It is the love and the passion for it.
Right. I feel like we're about to know what number one is, but go ahead. Because it's obvious, right?
New Hope.
All right.
New
Obvious.
Hope,
Obvious.
Yeah.
It started it.
Yeah.
You had people going, you just talked about it. You laid it out eloquently. How much was resting on this?
Yeah.
And to the point where you had people going to the movie theaters and they were just like, what's this? And they were blown away.
Yeah.
And they came back again.
Yeah.
And they told everybody else about it.
Yeah.
And so you see the introduction of this character. And once again, we didn't see lightsabers until a little bit later.
Right.
So it wasn't really heavy like that.
You saw the droids. You saw all of these things.
You saw the world.
You saw the world. First of all, every time I saw the intro, was it 20th Century Fox that it was?
I believe so, yeah.
You would do that, and then every time that came on for every movie, I didn't realize that was just the intro to everything they want. I thought it was Star Wars coming on, and I was eagerly awaiting. And if I didn't see that little epilogue of words going backwards, I was like, okay, I need to walk out.
To my next point. What happened to theme song?
Right.
Yes.
Oh, who doesn't know the Vader?
That's what I'm saying. They had iconic. You see this stuff, and so you see the introduction of Luke. You see him go through struggle. You see him lose his uncle and all these other people. And it's not forced. Everything happens in a nice, concise plot line.
Yeah.
And then he goes away. He has nothing, left.
Oh, my bad.
Exactly. It's okay.
I'll give you background.
It's okay.
All kinds of copyright strikes.
You get the droids. You get all of these different things. And then you get this, once again, you get the menacing Vader that you hear about.
Right.
You see Obi-Wan. He loses his mentor. Just like you see him training for the first time. With lightsaber. And he's teaching him along the way. And he is not getting it.
Yeah.
Right.
He's not getting it. He's struggling.
I think it would have took away if he got it, and then we would have seen that. Like, no, we needed to see the progression, like we talked about.
Yeah, but it's all good storytelling.
Right.
It's all good storytelling.
We saw an incomplete character, an introduction. We saw, now the introduction of Han. Now, when they went back, did we need the Jabba added to it? Slithering around, it was horrible. No, we didn't need that. You could have left that out. We see, them build this bond.
Yeah.
Not forced.
Yeah.
It was almost like a bond of necessity.
Right.
Yeah.
Like they went through some stuff and a lot of stuff really quickly and it put them together.
Yeah.
And then it looks like, okay, we got this Death Star, we have this thing, we have this plan, and they win. They get the win. And as a kid, I thought the movie was over. They won. The good guys won. Didn't realize it was supposed to be more going to it, which brought me in even more. But you got introduction of side characters.
Yeah.
Wedge and Tilly's. Remember the name. I'm coming back to that later.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got an introduction to these other side characters that you ended up caring about. When I got to the second movie, I was looking for Wedge.
Yeah.
And I did not want Wedge to die.
Yeah.
He didn't.
Yeah.
In the third movie,
Yeah.
looking for Wedge.
Yeah.
Rogue One.
Yeah.
Guess what? He was the one that sent out the word for the troopers to fly off.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
He did.
What was the last movie? The dumpster diver trash.
Okay. Say that.
Okay.
That's next.
Okay.
That's next.
He was in it.
Yeah, he wasn't.
He was the redeeming thing. I watched that whole movie and I was like, Wedge.
Yeah, he was.
He
Wedge.
still made it.
What up, Wedge?
Best Starfighter
ever.
ever.
It's funny, man, because it's like everything that you're saying, it takes me back, bro. It's like you get that same feeling every time you watch these movies. It's why you watch these movies. It's why you love these movies.
It's like family.
It's like family, man. And even the fact you're talking about what would be considered ancillary characters, but they were characters.
They were characters.
They were characters. They were characters that had, I can imagine that they had lives outside of what the main story is. I can imagine that they had things. You know what I mean? Like nowadays, you don't get that. Side characters are just side characters.
Right, throwaway.
Throwaway characters.
Throwaway.
I can't remember anyone that I cared about in these new movies. Like once again, I cared about in Rogue One K2SO,
bro.
A droid.
The new movies, there's so little to care about in these new movies that it makes the way they treated the characters that we care about. It's like, what is that?
It was the part of why I appreciate the first 3 episodes even more.
Right, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And with that being said, because it's an awesome segue to the controversial topic, everybody just heard Doc's top 5 Star Wars movies. If you agree or disagree, have a different list, make sure you put it in the comment section. We are fascinated to see what you may feel in your heart.
I'm interested in you guys.
On what the list is. You kind of nailed it. You kind of nailed it. I don't have anything outside of that as far as the movies.
I didn't like Han. I didn't like the Solo movie.
Right.
I mean,
it's not that I didn't like it.
Because
I thought it was like, okay.
Right.
It was number 6.
Yeah.
So that probably wouldn't even be, it wouldn't be that close to the top 5.
Right. And I'm into TV shows for the most part. And, for me, if we were doing TV shows, I would have put Clone Wars at number 1. With Rebels right behind it, because Rebels, a lot of groundwork in Rebels is what's going to bear fruit in the Ahsoka show. With Sabine, she was a Mandalorian. Well, she is a Mandalorian. She was in Rebels, and during the Ahsoka trailer, we got to see her as well. And I'm really interested if they're going to bring Ezra. Ezra, of course, he was a Jedi in Rebels.
Every time I hear that name, it just messes with me. Did you see Jedi Tales? Did you see Jedi Tales?
Jedi Tales, Tales of the Jedi.
That was
absolutely
great.
That was really good,
especially from a Dooku standpoint.
And it showed Ahsoka's origin as well.
Yeah, if you can see, it actually gives you a different appreciation for Count Dooku.
And it's like what Trey said. Like again, it's not black and white because you don't just wake up and become evil.
No,
and but they established that early.
Right.
It's like there's something that switches you to the dark side.
Right. It's always a switch.
It's always a switch.
It's almost like how we were talking about earlier. Well, life, art imitates life. Your frustrations that you have at work when you're telling people about stuff and they're not listening to you, and you're like, "This is gonna happen."
For sure.
Dooku warned. It was just like Anakin. Anakin was like, "I think Chancellor Palpatine is evil. I think he's such as like." He told them, and they didn't believe him.
Right.
And so that's frustrating. And eventually, guess what? I didn't pick up, I didn't go on. My eyes didn't turn yellow. I didn't go. I just was like,
I feel like a narrator.
But I felt like Dooku when he just walked away. I told you. I stopped going to meetings. I was like, you know what? You guys just deal with this because you're not listening.
Right. So it's always a switch. Yeah. But no, I wouldn't. Me personally, I think your list is spot on. But I'm interested to see what our listeners are going to have, if they have anything different at all.